Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld. And you know the drill at this point. It's the end of the week, meaning it's time for us to discuss the manga series that I've read this week. So yeah, let's get started with this because these things get very long very quickly. We first have Shadow House chapter 191. Which, funny enough, this chapter actually took quite some time to get translated into English because I think the Spanish translation was out for a while. It's just something that we'd have noticed sometimes when it comes to translations for these, I guess, lesser known series. If you can say that, something that has like 2 seasons already, but regardless. Anyways, chapter 191 titled Lost Memories for Shadow House. So in this, so we start this chapter off with a bit of a showing us the chronologically, kind of remind us how things are going chronologically, with us having the end focus of the children's Kate's group faction, let's call it, getting the key while the whole events with Lou and Lewis are happening. So yeah. And after that, we have Ram going to the place where Lou is, and then we get like the very interesting, probably the most interesting, well, not the most interesting, but probably like a very big possibilities for the future part of this chapter, where we have Ram encounter Anthony, because remember, this is like happening in the same time, so this is happening before Anthony entered the place with Lewis, as he tells her that it's fine, he'll take over it. So, and Ram kind of just sort of sits down. This is kind of, I want to say this kind of is well depicts the kind of hierarchy here of the people who pretend they are faceless dolls, with Ram having the gag and everything else. Like, Ram is in a full lifeless, faceless doll gallop, while Anthony dons the clothing of faceless doll, but doesn't, have that gag in. So it's kind of a good depiction. So it's a kind of a good, well, kind of a depiction of the power structure here. And at that point, Ramshaw just tenses up and just sits still, kind of like, yes, sir. Which I'm not entirely certain if this is like a hierarchy amongst the faceless dolls, or if this is supposed to be Ram knowing that this is Anthony and them being somewhat connected to one another. Like, I imagine Anthony with all of his sneaking and spying and all that, he probably is aware of Ram and her being free and all that. So it seems very likely that he does have some control over her or something like that. Maybe because it's kind of difficult again to say how much he can let off, because remember, Ram, the reason why Ram can handle it is because she can escape the drugging process with the coffee and all that. But if that's leaked, then it's gonna, I mean, kill her or just overdose, have her get an overdose or something like that. It's not gonna be that difficult to get Ram out of the way. She essentially does need to obey in some form of manner to Anthony. But again, it's kind of difficult to say exactly on what kind of relationship Anthony and Ram have right now. At the bare minimum, it does seem that Ram is in some way subservient to Anthony. But if she is working for him is not clear, because in this chapter we have her immediately throwing Shirley, who managed like this small little cloth piece to onto Anthony, so Shirley can get inside and do her part and help Lou. So it doesn't seem, I don't think Ram is a spy for Anthony for Kate's group. It's more likely to be something like Aoyama being a spy for All For One, where it's like unwilling, doesn't want to participate. It's just that Anthony says some kind of control over that she cannot, that she has to navigate. Again, it's not very clear, but it's very clear that these two do have some kind of connection, hierarchy connection here. But yeah, anyways, then we cut to the ending of the last chapter with Anthony showing up and Lewis view him like a saint and all that. or religiously figure, but then and Anthony Lewis tells Anthony that he'll do uh, to that he will give Lou one more push to have her join them because he first was like manipulating using his suit power, but he kind of wanted to ease into subservient through a normal dialogue, but that's not gonna work because like you and the other children who are around your age might view Anthony and Christopher and all that like saintly figures, but Lou and the other ones, I mean, I guess the ones that were doing Barbara's reign as a star bearer, don't, who came during her time, aren't exactly gonna view her that high. I mean, they're gonna know he's a great guy and all, but they aren't gonna be able to know anything more than he was a very favorable star bearer, and his generation was considered the gold generation. That's all. I mean, we can agree, but we weren't around that top period, so it's not gonna work on Lou the same way it would work on someone like Lewis and Bob and Sarah as well, and probably some other ones. I guess also for all of the previous star bearers as well. So yeah, it's not gonna be that. So yeah, it's not gonna work on Lou that much. But regardless, Shelly, like I said, came along and she doesn't attack or do anything. She kind of sneaks into amongst all the suit to like give little communication device that one of the new recruits has, the one who was going up against Douglas during the counts during the exam. As we reveal that Ricky is on the other side of the voice, and they kind of try to use their feelings for one another to like awaken Lou, and Lou is from this slumber because it's revealed that where the star bearers and everyone is that Ricky got his clothes dirty. I'm assuming that Ricky and why am I blanking his name right now? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on Kate's love interest. Whatever. Those two are also there, and Ricky got his clothes dirty, and they need to stay. And then Kate says, "Oh, you go, guys, go ahead. I'll change Ricky's clothing so everything will be presentable for the indoctrination or the celebration." Because I imagine that I could totally see Kate saying like, "Oh, by the way, since 4 is a little too limited of a scope, uh, I decided it would be for the best if I have a few, especially when it comes to competencies. There are more than 4 that are competent to be judged. I think it would be for the best if we have a few who are more assistants. And since Ricky proved himself when I was in out of nowhere called in an emergency situation, I think it would be best if I have him as well since of the past. I mean, there's probably gonna be again. I don't think having those again. It's not a thing of fish. I'm probably overthinking this, but I kind of could see Kate doing something, pulling something like that. Like, oh, these two are very competent and capable individuals, so I need to put them. So I'm having them as assistants, kind of deal. But yeah, anyways, Ricky is being saying he will reach and he does like that dramatic posing because that's how he kind of starts off about kind of like it sounds kind of I'm kind of this supposed to be taken as a comical scene where you have uh Ricky do this dramatic posing, these over the top gestures, but then none of it actually works because Lou and Luis are still singing that unification song to unite into one being, which makes me now wonder if I can't remember off my head if they actually straight up say Christopher in this song because that would be a red flag to Kay to be like, wait, Christopher, wait a minute. Why is she talking about Christopher? The guy, I'm pretty sure that the Shadow House shouldn't be saying Christopher. The great grandfather is the more accurate one, but to be fair, Kate was always a bit suspicious of Anthony already, so this kind of just confirms that she should be suspicious of him even more. Like, just the thing that he wanted to do with Baba was already a red flag. It's honestly more of a mutual dislike, but not mutual needing each other kind of deal right now. But yeah, it's not reaching itching Lou and Rick is kind of despair, like thinking, "Oh my God, I'm the closest person to her, and why can I not help her in this situation? I must do something. There has to be something I could do." So we did have a bit of a flashback with Lou and Ricky and the time living together because uh, big, to kind of get like a big dramatic effect from it. So Ricky, you, well, actually, I think it's Lou the one who's starting to narrate because she does get her bit of a memory back. I think it's just uh, memory back because she remembers like when they were children, like even younger than when they were being chosen for the being new servants of the shadow of the great shadow house. We have like them being, I mean, I want to say five. Like we see them very small, like very childlike. Where Lou had like insanely oversized hair, where you couldn't even see her eyes. And Ricky was a lot smaller and all that. And they had a little pass together where because Lou was such a meek girl, people bullied her, and Ricky, who was also neighbors, saw it, and he kind of wanted to step up against them. But Ricky was, I mean, he's already not intimidating as a physical character already, and even though he's even smaller and weaker, so it's kind of just like a boy throwing a tantrum to get them away, and those bullets got away, and Lou kind of, and Ricky was kind of crying, and they were fine. It's a sweet moment. It's a very nice moment, and that does trigger Lou's memories, and she is back. Well, she does remember everything, and she has like a little reflection on her current self, her past self, and all these personalities she had during the time period. And she is back. We end the chapter with her final awakening. Although, okay, it's kind of again, it's like one of those things where it's kind of kept ambiguous on where exactly it's going because we don't see, like, we see this like it's kind of this similar dramatic conclusion to the chapter story for the arc, whereas it was with Douglas, where we had like this symbolically them being on Kate's side, thing, fully accepting Kate as as the one who they need to follow. But it's like this very dramatic. It clearly has to be in a more symbolically with them both standing there with Douglas's bright eyes while he's most likely just uh, confident, like most likely just respectively talking to Edward about something else. Or how he's 100% on Edward's side kind of deal. So it's kind of like one of those. So we don't really know if the unification was successful or not. Considering this is Shadow House, I would not be surprised if this like one of those things where the unification thing was successful. It's just that It's just that Lou and Louise managed to regain their personalities and their mindset. So they're kind of like in a similar state as Ram and Shirley are, where Ram and Shirley have gone to what got to finally consoling each other, but Shirley lost her body, reducing her to like a tiny little cloak now. So it's like it's not bad, but it's not a bad thing, but it's still like not the bad situation. Like the two are not psychotherapy, something like this where Lou are active, but now they have like a personality switch where every time it's just Lou, it's Lou, but then whenever they activate their shadow powers, that's where Louise takes over. So it's gonna be like one of those situations, but we don't know. We have to wait and see for the next chapter to see how dark or hopefully heroic, hopefully cheerful ending we're gonna have. Because again, like, it shows us it's a 50-50 shot at this point when it comes to how good the endings are going to be in arcs. Like, remember the ending of the previous arc with two 10 or 12-year-olds dying, one being having her throat slip because of her delusion towards one person as he's smiling at her in saintly form. So, again, it shows us it's 50-50 here, people. So yeah, anyways, after the Shy House, let's get into Shy. Chapter 120, titled Don't Forget. Wait, did I not type in for me? Because I'm pretty sure it should have me in the end, but whatever. Maybe it was just not included. or maybe it's supposed to be kept vague because of the nature of this chapter. Anyways, we start this chapter off in the only proper way we should start this chapter to right now, and that is with Kuroba's execution. And with execution, I mean whole guillotine manner. Her head in the guillotine being ready to get chopped off by it. Stigma is there, calmly sitting there reading his book aloud as Kuroba is there. Like she should. Like, honestly, what the heck did that lady expect? She should have nothing, there would be no punishment for it. But, yeah. Anyways, Stigma is talking with Kuroba, and he tells her, he's not happy about taking Holy's ring, and explains to her by threatening her to execute her, which first is like a little. The thing is that I believe Kuroba represents endless fear, so he's kind of placating her fear aspect with first by making it look like he's gonna decapitate her, but then stopping. But then he changes his tone about how she shouldn't kill Prayer, because while it is true that it wouldn't be we did have some betrayal, and I would not want any of you guys to abandon this cause, killing them as soon as possible is unnecessary. After all, Kufufu was also uh, taken in by the heroes and was changed a little bit, but she still returned and still serving. So there was like no reason, just a small little different feeling to regarding heroes does not mean that she needed to kill them. So he then makes it look like he's actually going to kill her, but it was still just a joke. Like this time, he doesn't just like stop halfway through. This time, he just straight up stops it. I think with his bare hand, in fact, it does clank. It's like making the sound effect, and that actually does affect Kuroba. It's like one of those things like, oh, wait, she can handle fake fear, but when it comes to like more legitimate fears, she cannot. So, anyways, after that little prank, Kuroba and Stigma leave again. He's reiterating that they should not be doing stuff like this. They shouldn't be killing their friends. But so instead, he decides now that they will build a graveyard for prayer, so big that it's gonna be able to be seen from the heavens, kind of thing. And assumingly after this they build this, or maybe they just use their powers. It shouldn't be that difficult. Or maybe it's just Kuroba who builds the grave as he's going to go deal with something else. Or maybe they're not building it right now. Maybe later. Regardless, Stigma then goes into his little. I want to say, I don't think it's the same library that Ruiz had, but maybe it is. I don't know, it's a library kind of saying where uh, Stigma is kind of talking. He's returning a book that he was having in this chapter, and he stated something interesting here, where he says people are only dead when they truly are forgotten, or when they are forgotten. Which again, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like the thing is throughout the whole thing, or the very least the way how he had talked with Kufufu after Tsueta's death, as well as it was animated, that so you can watch it if you've seen the end of season 1 of Shy. He kind of said, "Oh, they'll always be with you. Tsueta is not gone. She's just she is going to return. Just gonna take some time, but do not worry. Once the plan goes, and yeah, it's kind of like that. So you will always remain in as long as you remember them, which is gonna be true in a few dozen or so chapters where we get to Kufufu's uh, suburb, suburban lifestyle. But regardless, for right now, Stigma also reiterates that he doesn't want to be doesn't want to be forgotten. So he wonders something about like why well, obviously referring to Shy, because Shy is now aware that he's Shine, and he's kind of pissed off at that because first it was kind of like first he was under the impression that Shy forgot about Shine, which I think was more like you just have to move on. You can just cry because your sister is that for the entire time. But regardless, he no remember thinking about that, but it also says that he will not be forgotten as Stigma leaves the room, as they're book falls off a shelf that says the Book of Stigma. So I'm assuming this is gonna be a bit kind of like a MacGuffin type of thing that's going to reveal something important at some point. I don't think it has come into play yet, but I could be forgetting something. But I'm assuming it's going to come into play later. But yeah, anyways, then we cut to Shy and Nirvana and Vilio's situations as we have them flying Vilio personnel spaceships, which I'm guessing those are alien spaceships. Remember, because they're such tiny little shrimps, they kind of have to use more of their mindset. So Nirvana and Shy are able to operate them just by kind of thinking about it, how to operate it. Although Shai is having a bit of an issue because she's a 14-year-old girl who this is the first time she's probably flying in a. I mean, I'm pretty sure she flew in a plane before because she went to Russia for quite a while, but this is probably the first time that she has to pilot the plane itself. So, yeah, she's kind of trying to take control of it, but can't really do much. But yeah, anyways, with that establishment that's of their means of transport, Nirvana also asks her about how they're gonna do with Shine. Like, it's hard to believe, and while it does make 100% sense, this theory, how do you feel about the fact that you're gonna have to go up against your sister and all that? And Shine has that heroic, I have my resolve. I will accomplish it. I will do what I can. I will stop my sister's plot. I will bring her back, and all that jazz. Which does affect Video a bit because remember, Video has unlike the other shrimps, Video has very straight and very serious eyes. Not entirely certain this is because of Shine's damage that she caused him, or if this is just a mentality that he grew over the time period while he was watching over Shine. Because I think it was like one of those things where before Shine even got her bracelet, that she had those eyes. I think the only time we see him with normal shrimp eyes is when he's giving Shine the bracelets for the first time that are supposed to control her power a bit more. So regardless, Vilio has those eyes a bit for a second, but then he quickly goes back into normal. Not that this is gonna be a big thing. This is just supposed to be on a smaller scale, symbolic representation of the Shy and Shine coming back together with when the two are maybe sisters again, and Shine probably passing away. If that's gonna be him going full back to his normal eyes, which is probably gonna be a quick little reference by other shrimps or maybe Shine or Shy. But regardless, with this we end the chat. We get to the final page of the chapter where we cut to where Thumpin is because remember Thumpin has outside of their place they were living at. Thumpin has another place that he has in a I want to say African country, but I think I can't remember exactly which country it is. Country is I think it is stated, but I'm kind of blank on the name right now. But it's kind of like it's a desert-like country where and war-torn country kind of place. So we have him in that area again, that house that he has built there. As he comes there, as he walks it into it, as he sees all of the plushies that he kept in that house completely destroyed. I mean, ripped to shreds, like his own the plush that one of his friends made him being decapitated and all just destroyed. As Thumping just looks at it in shock. I'm guessing that business mafioso guy, scumbag, was not exactly happy about being taken prisoner and stuffed into a stuffed teddy bear and threatened. So he decided to get his payback on him by destroying his plushes, which, alright, that has to have been him doing it personally because it's like, regardless of how much you get paid to. Imagine a CEO telling you to go into this kid's abandoned shack place and destroy all of his plushies. Just a sort of ridiculous concept. So he must have. I imagine that guy kind of not certain if he went. If like I don't think it was explained if Bumping just let him agree to it or let go. I'm assuming it's gonna be for the next chapter. But regardless, that CEO must have done it himself. I don't think he could have if he has any brains at all, I doubt he would have his men do that. It just sounds super petty. It's kind of like if you. It's kind of like if a kid. It's kind of like if a kid was accidentally threw a ball and it hit not you, but hit the car because they were being irresponsible. They were playing with their football, and then that man would just destroy the football and then scare the and then punch the kid and then scram. It would just look stupid and ridiculous and well horrible. That guy would be horrible. The fact he was attacking that kid. So I'm assuming it was probably something like that. He must have done it himself. It's not like he wanted to show a bunch of kids, but regardless, that's it for the chapter, and we're gonna focus on thumping for the next. We're gonna like this again. This is not only building up with a hero song, but also building up with a villain song and all that. So now we are just dealing with. Now we are explaining to getting rid of the final member of the Amarimaru before we get into actual conflicts of these arcs. Of this arc. So yeah. Anyways, with those two series and go into deep philosophical and mindsets and desires and life or death situations, it's time we talk about Peak, which is 100 girlfriends that really, 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 really love you. Chapter 172, titled The Slender Lady Pigtails Pajamas Combo Chapter. So yes, thankfully we are continuing with that trilogy of chapters, and we're not doing some kind of April Fool's joke here. Excellent. All of us are happy. I mean, granted, any chapter of 100 Girlfriends would probably be Peak anyway, so it's not like it's that much of a difference, but still, Peak is Peak. So yeah, we start this chapter again. I feel like at this point, everyone just kind of accepts they're gonna do crazy stuff for the sake of the plot to happen. As I thought drinks and not one of those drugs, as we have everyone be like, oh no, what drug did he take this time? As Erin's even like already kind of having him in her lab, like, why? Crying and all that stuff. As Kusur explains the drug that she made previously, because despite the side effect, the things that happened last chapter, she still apparently hasn't learned her lesson. She never does she? But yeah, which we even lead to a few fourth wall breaking jokes as we start. Well, we actually started chapter with a fourth wall breaking joke with Tommy. Like, it's almost like some kind of greater being, Meow, is possessing stuff to happen according to these weird contrived plot ways. Which is pretty much true. I mean, there's several other jokes like this throughout the chapter because again, this just characters do interact with one another doing some regular stuff. So we even have like a little fourth wall breaking joke on Winnie the Pooh's license because like there's a reference because Uta makes comment when she's lazing around about him, but then that's I think a quote from Winnie the Pooh. So yeah, we have stuff like that. And then we have like characters of it reacting, like the same way how the characters were reacting to the previous chapter's plot. Which the only one I really wanna talk about. There are a few that I want to mention specifically. But the one I want to mention, a few of the main ones I want to mention, like, is Elka stupid? Because, like, I don't want to be mean to the grandma. I don't want to insult her too much, but is she? Because she's confused on what slender is. Slender, just being a skinny woman that doesn't have, like, exaggerated proportions. Like, why is that the thing that is she confused by? I mean, maybe it's something else that's confusing her, but it seems to be slender for in the chapter's transitions now. So why? And even Natty, although to be fair, Natty's thing could be more of a translation thing or more just general confusion of her speech because it's Natty. Her language is all over the place to a point that I'm not entirely certain exactly if she's even trying to learn English. So regardless, like, why is she confused on slender? Like, why is that one of those words that has to be confused? I get cars, I get telephones, I even get the modern, what they're called, the modern self-prepared food restaurant, the cooking equipment meant, but why slender? Shape of a woman? Did that time period have a different word for it? But regardless, we also have characters reacting to this whole plot and all that. Is there like just well, they all have these big smiles, but they all and they say, "Oh, this," as they all think to themselves in a hat. Which, besides the obvious tsundere trio, well, pretty much the straight men of this world, where's a Momoha and someone, and I think Iko, I don't know, one other, who are like, "This is so stupid," which is pretty much 100 Girlfriends in a nutshell. This is just stupid. Which I love. There's even some self-deprecating humor from the writer in this chapter because, because they had Akko say, "Oh, I like simple manga, the ones that are easy to get to. Like 100 Girlfriends is really simple," which is basically saying, as Groom's like, if you have to be smart to write a hot manga to get to. So it's a bit of self-deprecation humor there, which again, Nozono Sensei is an excellent writer, so she can self-deprecate all she wants because we all know she speaks. Nozono Sensei is a female writer, right? I mean, I think it's the. I mean, I don't know. I recently got volume 9 of 100 Girlfriends, and that way they always refer to Nozono Sensei as a girl, so I'm assuming that Nozono Sensei is a woman. We don't have a picture of her, so it's kind of difficult to tell who she is. But yeah, anyways, we didn't have the girl, all the slender women prepare themselves, wearing the pajamas, which I'm guessing are gonna be like striped pink and white pajamas. There might be other colors there. Maybe it's just the way it was the simplest to do in this manga format. I'm assuming they're gonna be pink and white. So yeah, we have them, and they all look cute. Which, although I'll be honest, I'm kind of disappointed with the pigtails things because a lot of them look like they're. I mean, they say they're gonna use the hair expanding drug because a good chunk of the slim girlfriends have more short hairstyles. Like I think Akko, Rin, Mimi, and Karane. I might be. May I think also has long hair. Yeah, May also has long hair, and I think I might be forgetting someone, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. Or most other half the other ones have short hair, like very short hair, so it makes sense they would have to use it. But the way they do it just feels like they're like taking some extra little extended hair pieces and just pieces of hair that bottom and put them together like pigtails. So it's kind of a weird thing, but I get it. Like you can have a bunch of Karane hairstyles all over the place. But regardless, you have the girls, and they also have to kind of question where they got put themselves because the Hahazon's residence is kind of too perverted. So maybe it would kind of distract from the lazy around thing because they also have to do like lazy everyday stuff or day off stuff in these chapters. So yeah, we have like characters are chilling right now. Like we have a couple of girlfriends playing games, or in the idol's girlfriend. I think she also has a bit longer hair. Looking at abnormal people, as Mimi doing like yoga exercises, which I can totally see. Even if it wasn't said beforehand, which I don't think it was actually, I could always see Mime's day off things being yoga and stuff like that, or Iku's still exercising hard even at her time off, or playing games that are really hard. Which may be an Undertale reference there because they referenced what's it called? Massacre Route? Or the Dark Route, the one where you kill every single character. So, yeah. And the only ones I really want to point out are the Tsundere girlfriends because this is again one of those chapters that shows us why they're the best girlfriends. Kane being looking at cute cat videos that she's being all Tsundere and be like, I am not me senpai. I am not gonna use the screen on my phone to watch my face because which was this like a joke with me. Like, if I was going to use something to deflect my beautiful face, it would be a mirror. And because of course that's the point. Then we get May reading Soju manga because which is pretty much confirmed. Like this is kind of a thing now where we are more and more getting into Soju manga with me. May with her like being, oh, this book is such a great book because of this and this and this, or her getting thing like that harem protagonist thing when her dressing up like a schoolgirl with Rentaro, Iku, and Uku all dressing up like the guys, the harem boys, or her just in general interest as she reads a shoujo manga, as she has a relatively quiet hobby because in the other ones, go on online, all that stuff. We also have like a little hug from Akko by saying, "Oh, I also read a lot of manga, shoujo manga that May is recommending me." As that may states that yeah she is into it. As there's also like another joke. The reason why she's into these more quiet hobbies is because so she could hear her dear older sister what she's doing on the other side of the door, which is funny since May needs some. Okay, we'll get into this pretty soon, but just to wrap now the best trio of the or the best group of the girlfriends, that's Kurumi, who has this like alongside Rin, she watches movies and also horror movies, but that is a thing that was established. Like it was I think the first chapter after Chio's introduction was other way. No, actually, I actually think it was the chapter at the start of volume 8 where where it said that Kumi is interested in watching a horror movie, but it's rated 15 and up, so she cannot go watch it. And since all the adults are too scared to go watch it, she's kind of shit. She's kind of out of luck in that situation. But here she can watch it because she is in a, I think in a rent room or something. So regardless, she's there, but she also like has like this thing where she eats licks slowly a lollipop or a I think it was a squid or something. Think it in. It has like a large family size ice cream, which it does like that's gonna give you a tummy ache. But it's going to be referenced as the fact that her tummy cannot be ached by this. She's Kirby, people. Momiji confirmed that she is Kirby. Which also, I just gotta love the fact that Kurumi, it's kind of similar to Karane being one of the more innocent girlfriends, friends, with Kumi also being like one of the most childish. Like we have the standard girly girls, but then you have Kane, who whenever it comes down to her personal views, are always the most innocent. Not good enough to be on the innocent girl side, but when you actually think about it, she really should be amongst the most innocent ones. So it's similar to Kurumi. She may not be as childish as some other ones who are literal children, or they at least have the appearance and mentality of literal children. But she's pretty much a child with the way how she's licking the lollipop so happily, like lollipop, yay, tasty! I want ice cream. So yeah, generic girls fans are the best. Then we also have May, and so like we could probably assume, or when she went on her date with Rentaro, we find out that May has a really hard time doing anything for other than serving her Hari-sama to an insane degree. Like we are told that she has break times, which to be fair, I feel like May can just say, "Hey, Hari-sama, can I have a break?" And Hai will not have any issue. She'd probably view it more like her daughter requesting if she could do it later or something. So May has breakdowns, but whenever she wants to think what to do, what she should do other than serving, she ends up serving, which I told her that she has to focus on a break. But May just is like, so instead of doing anything, I just decided to hold myself completely still, so not to do any work. Seriously, May, you need hobbies. Like, I guess it's probably meant to be like one of those sad things about her. Like, she's super developed to an insane degree, and due to the way how her life turned out to be. Which one? There's a bit of a re-emergence of May's backstory on Reddit that after this chapter, so it's kind of a reminder. I love that Uncle Douglas meme. That Uncle Douglas meme was amazing. Oh, actually, no, I think it was Uncle Ruckus meme from Boondocks. That one really worked with May's parents. I love it. So yeah, regardless, May needs a break. Like May needs a hobby. It's like I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly why, but I feel like it's time you guys to go find this woman some hobbies. Like I don't like the woman seriously needs to do something. Needs to have something else in her life than just serving May. Well, serving her Hari 24/7. Like I mean, seriously, she's gonna literally work herself to death at this point. So yeah, we get May's serious need of hobbies, and then we just have like I think May's the final one before we just get to the like kind of the ending with them all snuggling close to Renta, they're all on top of one another. Surprisingly enough, Aqua and Kurani are not next to each other because Asumi and Aqua, but still, it's a little sweet chapter. Although there's more, although Kurumi and the idol are together. Kiki, is it right? Kiki and Kurumi. So I guess that ship is maybe going there. Hahari would not be pleased. Or maybe she would be. I don't know. What would satisfy Hahari more? Her being with Kurumi or will Kiki being with Kurumi? Those are questions that we should be asking, but in this series we can expect those things to be answered. So yeah. Anyways, after that we have My Academia, chapter 4019, titled Design. I would say, awful ones, BS, how the fuck did you even come up with this plan chapter? If we're being honest, but regardless, it's not that chapter because we have a general chapter about, it's meant to be not as literal. So yeah, anyways, we start this chapter off by all for one saying that Tenku got his spiritual defeat, like in the last chapter where he went on his knees and have that more heart-to-heart, more reasonable conversation with Deku, and that kind of counts as a spiritual defeat. It's kind of similar to Darby Younger in JoJo Part 3, where while he didn't actually, both the brothers, like the Darby brothers defeats in Part 3, while they didn't actually lose, Darby did not fall, or did not, or lose in a game of cards, and Darby Younger also did not lose in a race. Not actually, I think it was a game of baseball. So they didn't actually straight up lose, but they were so back in the corner that their souls accepted defeat at that point. That kind of thing with Tenko here, and as Tenko is being consumed by All For One, because remember the last chapter, All For One just jumped out like a sandworm and ate Tenko, and now he reveals that now, All For One kind of gives us a bit of backstory about everything, as we find out that All For One, after failing to get the quirks from the although Bonjo, who I think is the fifth, and Anne, who I believe is the sixth, powers as well. I think we also get their hero names during that time period. So then, if hero names are like one of those, like the same type of names as like the pirate crews for the supernovas, or the pirate or regular or some pirates in One Piece, where it's just like the name of the character. I think it's just the names, their abilities, and something else alongside it. Kind of similar to Invincible now I think about it. So yeah, we have revealed that he discovered that he can't take it down normally, and he also realized that his hatred cannot calm over because he has a lot of hatred, but it's still not enough. So that's the reason why he kind of decided to make his own vessels and his own people. As he explains to us his vestige plan, he found Kotaru, and he kind of was, kind of the last chapter where we had Tomoe realize, wait a minute, where are these memories from my father coming from? Because I'm clearly not that big. Well, I was never that big with my father, and I never talked to him like this. So we revealed that All For One was disguising himself as like an. Not entirely certain it's the same person who brought Tomoe to their parents' place, but just someone there, and he was like, as he was like revealed that this guy was like, and like a friend, like a drinking partner, like a buddy you just hang out around, someone who can, oh yes, yeah, the business is going well today, oh yes, the construction form is very well, pretty soon I'll be one of the top, yes, so as Ofon reveals that he planned using Nana's son as for that purpose. But unfortunately, he discovered that his first child was already born, Tenko's sister, Shiraki's sister, and he deemed her too old for it because I'm assuming that she was about the age where he started with Shiraki, because Shiraki wasn't a newborn. But it is revealed that he did want a newborn kind of situation happening, because it's also revealed in this chapter that decay is actually from a quirk that I'm not entirely certain this is implied that it's the same quirk as Overhaul, because we see the picture of Overhaul when he was a little child going through some of the notes and all that. So I'm not entirely certain if that's implied that the Ujiko copied Overhaul's quirk and eliminated just the repair function, or if this was just a person with a very similar quirk. But I think it's implied. It will be probably explained better in a volume when in a volume. I could always see it like Sherlock explain. All right, to clarify this scene, the reason why we see Overhaul here is that, like Darby, Overhaul was also in one of these facilities before he went to the Yakuza. Until he joined the Yakuza family, was one of these facilities, and that's where Ujiko got the quirk, and that's where it changed and all that. I can totally see that something like that being explained. Regardless, that's the explanation. And also, I feel there's also which kind of works because their quirks were very like Overhaul's quirk was always a bit more of a upgraded version of Decay, and that's probably it's kind of revealed that the Decay is actually the actively made weaker version of Overhaul, so it makes sense. Or at least it's very heavily implied that to be the case. So yeah, so we get this creation of the decay, and that same goes for and that explains the reason why that quirk was created, so this could be given to Shigaraki because what uh Overthorn did was he told Shigaki's father that, kids. I find that kids that have children that have siblings to watch over one another have a better behaved or have better behavior of things. Kind of trying to wouldn't it be kind of lead Shigaki's father to more have another child, perhaps. I'm assuming it was more like a natural thing. Probably Tanko. But I can imagine like Shiaki's father was talking about his bad childhood with his mother. And so I was like, this is just a personal opinion, but I think having multiple kids would be helpful for the children if they had someone else they could rely on. Like they can help watch over the kids, which would force them to be more responsible sooner and respect the family soon as well. Like, I mean, when you have someone else you have to watch over, you are going to have to, speed things up. You can't just be as carefree as you are when you're a single child, if you know what I mean. So he's kind of leading down that way, and yeah, it does work as well. As then he has the child. I imagine he also, well, it's not stated. I at least believe it's stated. I imagine he also kind of recommended Ujiko to be the one to give it. I mean, Ujiko's already like a well associated. Well, he's already a well connected doctor already, so I imagine it would not be that difficult to get Ujiko on there. It was like I could totally see it something. I imagine like he also had like wiretapping on the phone. So all right, whenever there is any kind of pregnancy or anything like they have to go to a hospital, we need to listen carefully to make sure that they get that we get there as quickly as possible. Because yeah, I imagine it's a lot easier for all four to get things there as being like an assistant to Ujiko, and then I kind of control something, checking the symptoms and all that. Probably a bit more of an extra just for precaution's sake. So yeah, and then he also talks about the quirks and all that. Basically, it's revealed that the entire overall message states, "I am responsible for everything," basically, which. Okay, this has been a fan theory for a while. It's always been discussed, always been talked about. It's kind of like it's just one of those fears that is going to pop out. Which, I mean, I kind of didn't really like this theory because it's kind of like it's kind of like the Black Zetsu thing where it's like, oh, I think you might be doing a little too much here. Like you're kind of giving this guy a little too much horrible things happening just for his plot, if you know what I mean, kind of situation. Which again, it's presented in a good way. I think it's done in a good way. Like it's similar to like Dobby Reveal, where it's like done in such a spectacular way, where it justifies it taking this long to be revealed, and since this is like I want to say the story is not gonna be that much longer, especially considering the events of the next chapter. I don't think we are dealing with like 2 more volumes. I would imagine we're like in the final 10 chapters, the final 15 maybe. in the final, I would say we are about the final volume or at the final volume right now. But regardless, this All For One reveals this information to us, and Shiaki, as he consumes them, as they get out of this panel of Shigaraki, it's kind of a mental blow up. He self-destructs mentally with all the people that he decayed for the time and all that, as he sort of just dissipates for now. As then we cut to the real world, or the part we cut away from the spiritual nonsense, as Izuku's kind of processing all this, as we see All For One now being in complete control over Shiraki's body. But All For One is not happy because Shiraki's body, as well as One For All, are ruined. Like All For One, like Shiraki's body is. I mean, Shiraki's already a very physically damaged individual. Like he was somewhat muscular after the regeneration, but it wasn't like anything near that well. Wasn't anything impressive kind of deal. But now it's like just longer and leaner and kind of destroyed. Like the skin's completely destroyed, and the face also kind of like kind of like at its like final moments kind of thing. Looks like it's gonna be not that far from decaying itself, honestly. As then while he talks, there's also like a little skin coming out of around all for Shiraki's body now that forms like a hand that the ones that Shiraki's always wearing. And so all of us like, oh, some remaining attachments. Oh, be quiet, Shiraki. You're dead in a few seconds, anyways. It does not matter. Which I don't know if I would be as nonchalant about the arm as you are, All For One. Remember, decay may be inferior quirk, but it's still an effective inferior quirk. So we gotta shoot. All For One is kind of just pissed off at everything. All this work, all this, and now I got nothing. All For One, the new asshole is ruined. I might as well have to abandon it as soon as possible. And this and the old 1-4 is completely destroyed. Tsurugi is completely gone now. Everything has gone to shit, basically. So, yeah, which I guess means that 1-4 is that already, or maybe it's gonna be that a bit later. I'm not entirely certain, but regardless, it's kind of vague on how much of a Shiaki remains, because I also believe Off One says a bit later that Shiaki is gone, but I'm not entirely certain if he is truly completely gone, or just his final embers. And I could also see Izuku just having like final embers of 1-4, even though Quark is like completely obliterated beyond repair. So yeah, is so yeah. At this point, all phones like all the other plans are completely ruined or unsalvageable. I might as well just go into the main plot to take over the world. It's not like there's anyone left that is there, which is kind of true. But Izuku wants to remind everyone that he isn't as willless as people for some reason claim that he is, as he tells All For One that he's not gonna let him get away and not going to escape. As All For One questions how he's actually planning to do now, because Izuku is probably is going to be Quirkus pretty soon as well, and the fact that now he doesn't have any arms, because that mindscape decay did also affect Izuku's real hands, which decayed them as well. Which, all right, which now makes okay. I don't want to. Okay, I'm actually legitimately confused on this. Is the implication that Izuku also like that Izuku's hands did connect with Shiraki's real hands when he was punching through it, or is the implication that they got destroyed because of the lackadaisical skin that was engulfing Shiraki as protection? Because I do believe it said that Shiraki's while his extra arms that he creates from his body are said to be more like fake, are more said to be like nails or unnecessary skin than anything else. I do think they do act work, even though I don't think it would actually destroy anything. It's just that it's kind of implied they could destroy anything. So maybe it's like one of those. Even though the vestige world did cause some real damage on Nizuko, which not entirely certain on how to scale a destroying arms in a soul, which results in destruction of arms in the real world. Literal destruction, not like just you can't move them. Basically, if you destroy the connecting joints or something like that, because Izuku actively doesn't have hands. Like he's literally just, his hands are just this, like just stumps basically. But regardless, Izuku doesn't want to quit. And unfortunately for All For One, he can't finish Shizuku off just to be safe because uh, Saro, Sato, and Ojiro showing up to save the day. Oh yeah, Aizawa also shows up, so there is somewhat more hope. Or actual feats, because again, even in a ruined Shiraki body, I really don't think we're gonna be. And I think it's safe to say that Sato, Sara, and Ojiro are gonna be beating Ofwa in a ruined body with Azawa's help. But regardless, they show up and they participate here, which I think this is supposed to be that feat that Hokoshi was kind of building up, because I think it was before the war arc where he said that Cell is gonna play a role in the final arc of all characters. So I'm guessing this is supposed to be what it's referring to, or at least that moment is going to happen, because this was something that was mentioned beforehand. And I do think, and I don't think in this chapter it's kind of what exactly is meant to be, but I think we can expect it to happen soon. Probably like a Spider-Man reference that Hokoshi really wanted to include before the end of the session. I think he did say that Spider-Man is his favorite hero. So probably I would imagine this will be a reference to him or something like that. And we haven't really saw those guys at all. So I mean, we had them like sporadically show up and all, but we haven't ever really had them like do anything, or like actually participate in fights. Like I mean, almost honestly got surprised the fact that we were having big villain defeats against people like Darby and Toga and Spinner before we had those escaped Tartarus prisoners be beaten. Like we haven't even seen them. Like the next chapter is gonna show one of those remaining 4 escaped prisoner inmates. I'm pretty sure the other 2 aren't even gonna show again. Although I do think one did appear in a chapter. It's just it was like one of those very quick things that you probably wouldn't even realize. But regardless, we have them showing up to go up against All For One. It's gonna be probably one of those hopeless things where all the side characters, regardless of how minor of importance they are gonna go against the main villain until the hero can reconstruct themselves enough to go up against All For One. Which I honestly feel like while it will be fun against, I think the main point is gonna be like Izuku reactivating Shiraki's will and him finally deciding something for himself, which is decay All For One. Because again, he has a hand on his mouth, so what would be a more poetic way to kill All For One or finally get rid of him than Shiraki taking control of the hands that the hands that he's been always associated with him, and then shutting All For One's mouth for once, and then decay and be like, I mean, it probably be a kind of thing where Shiraka's mouth will appear on the hand or something and then decay him. Kind of like a finisher thing. Because if we got poetic that the guy that the All For One dies by the guy who's the biggest victim of his manipulation and his scheming and planning, it's just gonna be a poetic way to end him. But yeah, I feel like we're probably just gonna get this fight for a bit with All For One going up against everyone. So yeah, anyways, My Academia is out of the way, and now it's time for the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, chapter 145, titled Family Battle. Feels like the chapter should be a bit later, but nonetheless. So we have basically the reaction of the family, everyone getting kind of ready for a fight, and the danger and everything. As we then have Melton his unreasonably, I want to say unreasonable states. It implies that Melton is being unreasonable. I think in his cannot be reasoned state, as Kilbagon is kind of wanting him to use more of that rage, more of that negativity to make him stronger, to basically turn him to a chaos creature, to be more of a threat, because it's gonna be like it's a big enemy, and the family will not want to harm him too much. Which right now, there's actually a few civilians who are staring at this action that's happening, and it was probably magic person lead them to, but we don't see any gods. I guess Meltra really was the only. I guess Meltra and Sixes were the only real, like, combatants there or something. Combatants there. I mean, not saying that the other siblings aren't able to fight, but I mean, we've seen them fighting a little bit against Meltra here, and those other three, the third brother, the fourth, and the fifth sisters are not exactly impressive. I mean, Theoi was also. I mean, Theoi did blast Melchior away with that. Uh, uh, what was it? No, I'm saying. What? Why am I blanking on his name now? The mascot of the previous. The mascot appears a pig one. Like she threw Hawk. She threw Hawk at Meltre, but I haven't really seen much impressive feats from them. As we also have not as we have Meltre is darkness making him into a monster, and they go into a little bit of a fight. So, anyways, while this whole Meltre becoming a chaos monster happens, Kilbegon and the Chaos Sorcerer split up in two directions, and Sixers realizes what their plan is. They're basically like, Kilbegon, the main guy, is gonna lead King away, while Meltre causes chaos that will have Diane or King or whichever one. I don't think he actually has a desired one to split up, but it's just the way how it ended up with will be the shock because there will be the shocking with Meltre, while the other Chaos Sorcerers are gonna go get the drug of Yor. We'll get into the Chaos Sorcerers hunt for the drug of Yor later, but regardless, that's their plan, and King and Sixes understand, and they go in there. Because King has confidence in Sixes to be able to defeat all the Chaos Sorcerers. I also imagine that one of the reasons why Meltre was as had this inferiority complex was also because Sixes was such a well-rounded next king. Like, not in a negative, like, I don't think Meltre was jealous of Sixes or anything like that. In fact, their interactions when they were first encountering the Chaos Sorcerers and going to King, it shows those two are brothers and are, trusting. Like, Meltre has no issue with Sixes being the next fairy king. It's not officially stated, but I feel like it's very easily where the story is going for. Although I would be shocked if that isn't the case, if Sixes is like the next in line or something like that. But it's like, but I imagine it's like one of those things where it's like, it's not a big problem. Okay, I can respect Sixes as being the next king. I would much rather be his main bodyguard or knight figure than, anything than being the king myself kind of deal. I could totally see it like that. It's can chill. Because we have those to split up and we have those fights. So we didn't just have like a little bit of a showing of from the other ones, like the giant sisters are able to like hit Melcher with rocks, but they don't do anything against that chaos creature now. I mean, I'm not saying that if Melcher is strong in any of the giants or his family or not, but I feel like if Melcher is strong in those two in his normal form, then his chaos form he would be able to deal with everything, which I kind of feel like it would make kind of sense because it would kind of make a reason why Diane wouldn't be just able to hold him down completely. But regardless, while the family is kind of dealing with Meltre, we have the payoff for the last chapter's Mini Percival showing up, and it's revealed that Mini Percival healed Nauseant's arm that Meltre broke. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. It doesn't seem like Percival's gonna return right now because I imagine this is gonna be a conflict that's gonna be completely resolved with King's family. But it's fine. Like, I mean, again, I kind of like it will kind of make sense for Percival to be the first one to come back, but maybe it's more of a hint to it. Like Percival, like there's still like hope. Like Percival can still hear, can still interact. Now we just need to give him more of a reason to return quickly, or more of a drive to come back. So I mean, man, there still is possibility. Like we have the main fights against Kilbegon and the Chaos Soldiers haven't even started yet. So I could easily see some kind of final sacrificial spell causing that will cause Percival coming back or something or in this arc, but we don't know for right now yet. So yeah, then anyways we have Kilbegon and King going into their area to begin their little fight and all that. As there's also a nice little reference to Merlin, as King says, "Oh, Merlin, if you it was I have a friend who is way stronger than you, and you have basically no chance because she's so much better than you and all that." So yeah, again, kind of a scaling thing where he's more intimidated by Merlin than he's intimidated by Kilbegon, which I'm not surprised by. But yeah, we have those two uh, fight, and then we have to the Chaos Sorcerers coming to the Mushroom Mountain, as they're kind of looking around and be like, "Where's the Jock of Yore? Where's the Jock of Yore?" Which, alright, this guy giving me a little too much Chamber of Secrets vibe. Well, not Chamber of Secrets, the Philosopher's Stones from Harry Potter, where when you actually look at it, every I mean, in case if you don't know, although I feel like with how popular Harry Potter is, you probably would know. In the Philosopher's Stone, the way to get the stone is so well guarded. There's like literally no way that Quirrell or Voldemort would have been able to get it. Like quite literally, the only reason why they even why the stone was literally even in danger is because Harry showed up. Like if Harry hadn't even like left, if he just stayed in asleep in his dormitory, the whole thing would have the whole like Gore would have no way of getting the stone. Like it doesn't matter if he got over all the previous traps. The final trap, the one that was made by Dumbledore, is literally unbeatable for Voldemort and Quirrell. So it doesn't matter. So that's kind of giving kind of this kind of flashbacks where you need the Fairy King to get the Jog of Yore. You had the Chaos Sorcerers. Yeah, kind of looking for something that they cannot find. But it doesn't matter because Sixes shows up to go up against them. As he even has like this cool proclamation, like now you're finished because you go up against Sixes of the Fairy King of the Fairy King's family or something like that. So yeah, I'm not entirely certain what the scale sorcerers or these cloaked figures are because I mean they talk in this chapter, but I'm not entirely certain they're also like lizardmen like Kilbegon is, or if they are some other type of creature. I kind of find it kind of like sort of similar to the empties that are used by Death Pierce in the special movies, or like by that stereotypical aristocrat look armored knight that we got when Pell got in the previous arc. But they may not be that. I'm not gonna not entirely certain what they are, but I'm assuming we're gonna see them in the next chapter what kind of creatures they truly are. But regardless, we have Melcher versus the family, which is I'm guessing they're gonna be the which is gonna be the emotional one. Where I'm assuming Nauseans might have some kind of way to save Melcher or something. We have Kilbegon versus King, which is just gonna be like I think the up high level fight, which will just be a King dominating the fight. And then we have Sixes versus the Chaos Sorcerers, which is a kind of wild fight. Kind of reminiscent of the final fights in the part one of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, where you had like the high level combat with Lancelot and Nauseans, the emotional fight with Mortlock and Percival, and then the wild fight, the card fight with the Chaos Knights and the Full Knight and the Holy Knights. So yeah, we have that kind of situation going on here, and we will have to wait to see how this fight gets resolved. Guys, then we get to the penultimate chapter of this week because there supposedly wasn't that many chapters this week to read. We have Eden Zero, chapter 283, titled "In the Valley of Time." Quite a literal meaning in this chapter, I guess. So we start this chapter off with the aftermath to the Homura and Lady Freya fight, where we have the guys. Oh, we're Homura, you managed to defeat Lady Freya. GB like, why are you naked? As Clint's like, don't look at her big brother. Which fine, we also see Lady Freya's body is still there. I kind of thought she completely got blown up and destroyed, but it seems that she's still. I guess her body's still there. I mean, to be fair, maybe her core got destroyed. She does seem like the very like someone that one of those robots that would have a core in the main, like very obvious chest area. So I could see something like that, but it's kind of funny how she still seems to be a function, somewhat. Her remains are more solid than you would have thought if you watch the last chapter's battle. So not entirely certain this means that she's gonna have like an epilogue or something, thing, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, just in general, the entire like status of a lot of these villains are like, are they locked up on Eden's Zero right now? Like, are the Dark Stars torsos and whatever their bodies are like in the prison holding cells? Or are they somewhere else? Where are they? Like, I don't know. Maybe Leather is just Spanish. I can totally see her dying like God, lightning law. I mean, man, those weren't exactly anything special that much to begin with. So, like, Fairy Fair just got a little bit more detailed fight. But regardless, anyway, that's kind of whole thing is resolved. But anyways, there we with Lady Freya and Lara and Core being taken care of. They can now fully concentrate on a counter fight where we have the witch taking the helm and going up against Eden's one, and they have like a little fight, which I'm kind of curious if this is gonna like be one of the final fights as well. But so yeah, kind of a weird fight to be like I'm assuming the third final fight in the series, since like we get two other fights which are much more logical than this one, although logical is kind of a questionability for one of them. But regardless, we cut away from that as we have Shiki and Rebecca still unable to connect to the Eden's Zero, and now they still can't get the chronophage. Like, they were kind of gambling with everyone's connection to get a chronophage, but now it's kind of even more of a thing where they can't even reach anyone. So Shiki just decides to risk it and just goes somewhere to get the chronophage somewhere else with his power, and he tells Rebecca to just wait for him and all that. So Shiki leaves the space pod that he was in with his wormhole as he ends up where Xiaomi is, which I think was kind of a thing where, where is she? Because I don't think she appeared. Actually, no, I think she did. I think she did appear before, and but it was kind of like she was kind of missing in the beginning of the Universe Zero saga. So now she's kind of back here, and we see her. And she also reveals to us here that there's a bit of a theory that she might be abandoned the moon or something, and it's kind of confirmed this chapter with her saying that she was a satellite there. Now, it doesn't this is a translation issue of a satellite, it's just another way some people refer to the moon or something. But regardless, Zeromi states that she can indeed use her powers to bring Shiki into the chronophage and all that. Like, they can just cut the BS waiting for her to show up and all that as they leave and go get the chronophage, which she does, and they kind of go. Which kind of sad, I think that Manga is kind of like a character who you don't really give a shit because we didn't really get to know, but kind of sad that Zoma is gonna be reduced back to being a satellite or a moon. Who knows? Maybe she's gonna be remaining. That might be the reason why she's got satellite, because a satellite isn't necessary for a return. It's not necessary, so maybe Zoyomi is going to escape her fate. I mean, she doesn't seem to be in danger of being transformed back into a satellite, so maybe she will save her fate. I look at ways that she kind of gets a normal life though. Whatever. Xiaomi sent Shiki to chronophage as she goes inside the chronophage as he I'm guessing kind of sucking himself up to go up against the chronophage as he's inside of it. As he comes to the belly of the chronophage, a belly of time, if you will, as he sees that the chronophage is kind of a similar entity as Dan Crow was, with the real thing being inside, which seems to be kind of like a weird. I've heard some people comparing the true being inside the chronophage to be kind of like Rebecca and chronophage confusion type of creature, which I can kind of see. I mean, it's a female, which is kind of a fact. I mean, it's not as bad as Kaguya, but it's kind of a Kaguya referencing thing where you have like the final villain being being someone that's badly referred to in the story. Like the Corphages are regularly mentioned in arcs, in major arcs, but they don't. They're kind of more like plot devices, anything. So it's kind of fire Corphage's heart or stomach, or whatever that thing emerges from or comes from, is kind of the main bad guy. So we have Chronophage, your backup creature, going up against Shiki as its final opponent. Which kind of cements it that Void is gonna be defeated by Ziggy because beforehand you kind of thought that Void would defeat Ziggy and then Shiki would defeat Void, but with Shiki going up against this creature, this true Chronophage being, it's kind of cements it's gonna be as the final antagonist for Shiki, which is kind of a weird final antagonist. Which is kind of a weird fire antagonist when you really think about it, but what can you do, I suppose? It's Shiki versus Chronophage Rebecca, while Ziggy fights Void. Maybe they'll both be consumed by Chronophage or something. I don't really know. I could always see something like that happening as well. But already they're gonna take one another out. I gotta see that thing happening because again, like Ziggy is just a future Shiki, so maybe it would be for the best to just completely wipe the slate clean when it comes to this time nonsense. But regardless, we have which funny enough, it's actually gonna be wiped out because all of the dark stars and shining stars are just going to still remain. I don't know, maybe they're also gonna die. I don't really know. It's sad that Mashima wants to go very light with the final portion of the story, which is also the reason why everything feels so easy for the heroes. So we'll have to wait and see. But regardless, we didn't have. But until the way, let's get to the final chapter of the week, being Chainsaw Man, chapter 162, titled "The Fearsome," which is kind of reference to multiple things, but it doesn't really matter right now for this, because right now we need to remind everyone why Crunchy is a badass bitch, and why Season 2 of Chainsaw Man cannot come fast enough. Or slow enough, if you really think about it. Because we start this chapter off with Katama recognizing Crunchy and immediately went to go finish off with his signature move, which, come on, Katama, try to at least somewhat expand your arsenal at this point, because this is like a good beginning of the series type of thing. But come on, dude, at least try a bit more to it. But regardless, as he goes to slice her, but Crunchy just slices him in her base form. So his head off and completely takes him down like no different. Like he is not an issue to her. Once, even a tiny bit, not even a concern. So she deals with him easily. Then the Nail Fiend wants to kind of reason how to get her guard down. So he and Asa would have better opportunity to strike at her. But again, Quan Chi too skilled, just too much for the two of them. So she just bitch slaps Nail Fiend. A bit, I want to say a bit more difficult than Katana Man, but to be fair, Katana Man kind of just used his signature strike, so it could just be the fact that he had more openings than a Nail Fiend did, but regardless, it's no different by Quan Chi. As then, she does have a bit of an issue against Quan Chi, a bit of an issue with Asa, where she just where she just kicks her back into a wall instead of just cutting her down. Family doesn't participate in this fight, probably to keep the scaling a bit ambiguous. But regardless, everything's kind of done. It's clearly overwhelmed by Quan Chi. Like the last chapter, it could kind of make sense. It was gonna show how much Asuka has grown compared to Chainsaw Man, to have her grow mirror by defeating the enemies that Denji defeated. But here it's very clear that's not gonna be the case. Like she cannot defeat Quan Chi. I mean, Katana Man and Nail Fiend could probably be argued she would have been able to defeat with difficulty, but still end up victorious at the end. But here it's very clear that she cannot defeat Quan Chi. I mean, it's based Quan Chi for crying out loud. As Quan Chi goes there to strike Kubani's little brother, but Kubani's brother uses the Kubani technique as he uses chainsaw of Danji's head to like block it from damage. Just, it doesn't really matter, and it's kind of a survival dive instinct kind of kick in, as then Quan Chi stops it, looks at it, realizes it's Danji, and she doesn't want to cut Danji's head off because she knows she'll be in danger if she does this. As that cowardly one-eyed agent is like, "Go finish off! I order you to do so." As Quan Chi tells an old friend of mine, referencing Kishikibe, told me that I should not mess with Denji, and I learned my lesson. Like him, as the full-on hybrid form monster chainsaw version was beating the shit out of me with extra assistance from Makima and others. I am not dumb enough to challenge him again, even in this multi-limbed state. So regardless, she realizes that that's not a good idea. Then that agent tries to threaten her by saying, "Hey, we have your women's bodies, so if you want them back, you have to do what I say," which reveals that they kind of got her to work for you by threatening her wife's, well, I don't think they are said to be married, but her basically wife's bodies, her harem's bodies, which is kind of, douchebag move, dude, here. Like, I kind of thought that she joined back because Kishikibe was now in charge and all that, but I guess, no, I guess they just kind of threatened her to return by jingling her girlfriend's bodies, which I'm assuming that she just wants her girlfriend's bodies back as she wants to give them proper burials. Like just a proper being buried alive, put graves on all that type of stuff. Just to, you know, for proper for proper abilities, for symbolically have them depart with them normally, so she can probably feel bad about pursuing other women, type of stuff like that. I mean, I might be making her more horny than she is. Like, she does legitimately love them, and this is like an off feed where she's gonna be working for this commission because she wants her girlfriend's corpses so she could, return back normally. But that's my thing. Or maybe she does have a way to bring them back. Like, it's there that I believe Kishikibe, at least in the English dub, states that hybrids are immortal while fiends are near immortal, and if you damage a fiend's um, severely enough, you can kill them. Like, if you can kill them, that in a normal sense. I mean, granted, I do believe the devils of fiends can still come back. Like power, for example, I think it is implied that power can still come back, and her devil still did exist. So maybe there is a way to bring those fiends back. Maybe not like. I'm not. If you is that understand what happens if you are a devil who was a fiend and you die as that fiend and you get to another person as a new fiend? That's the same personality and same behavior or something like that. Is it ever stated like that? Or is it something else? Because I could kind of in theory see something like that's happening where maybe family or someone's like, "Hey, did you know that we can make it that we could have your girlfriends come back if you give me if we get the corpses of them and some if I get them some kind of agreement or something like that." I don't know. We get into this in the young chapter. But regardless, Quan Chi is not gonna do it because she's aware of the danger. As then this secret agent guy who's like, "Alright, so I'm clearly again in a bad spot. The one who's supposed to deal with you guys is refusing to do so, and Asa is still able to fight, and family isn't even like doing anything. But before I run like a coward with my tail between my legs, I'm gonna say women are, as the speculated to be his wife that he was referencing, devil with the chainsaw coming out of her head, appears and stabs him through his chest, and he now has to suffer the consequences. As Daniel explains, oh, this is from Katana Man's strike, which is, I think, meant to be the one that he did when he was attacking the agent guy, because the agent guy was able to avoid Katana Man's strike, but that still damaged the building, well, the part where the devils were, these chainsaw hybrid fiend creatures were. So I guess that's what happened here. He damaged that. He damaged the cell, and those chainsaw fiends run away. But that presumably his wife, most likely his wife, chainsaw fiend, was following him or looking for him to chainsaw him for being a cheating bastard who probably did more. He probably makes himself some bad as well. Like, I would not be surprised. It's kind of like when he was first shown, it was like smoking a cigar saying, if Chainsaw Man starts causing the issue, I have to deal with him. Well, not he does absolutely nothing and just runs away to get someone to actually deal with him. Probably, it's probably like something like that. He probably says, I only cheated with one once. And even that cheating was more of a actual relationship. It's not just a weekend hoe, but regardless, I only cheated once and did everything else correctly. So it was probably like one of those things, but regardless, the guy is dead finally, and we can make fun of him later. Cue the memes of his wife killing him. But yeah, anyways, and after this is all done with, Punchy's like, well, since he's dead, and I kind of don't want to get on the commission's bad side, so let's just say you beat me and decapitated me and call it a day, so we kind of get mutual beneficiality here, as the doctors use their 360 the level of intelligence, so they're all like, we did not anything. Nothing happened. We have no idea. We were just cowering behind like pussies. Oh my god, I love these doctors. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna come. Unless it's some kind of secret reveal later, we can safely say they are not gonna appear again. But I just love them. They just look at each other and be like, they are, we're still here, right? But we don't have to acknowledge. But we don't have to acknowledge that we heard that. As the uncle wasn't looking at the two doctors, he's like, wait, are we still just gonna play along with like we didn't hear this or whatever? So basically they are the smartest characters ever. These are the true horror movie survivors, not those BS nerdy yet attractive girls who can be the smartest in the room but also the physically and the bravest in the rooms as well. These are the true genius. These are the true horror movie survivors. Applause to the doctors from Chainsaw Man. Genius level characters. But yeah, anyways, Yuro agrees, but before she decapitates Quan Chi, she does ask something about like a general scale amongst her and Danji. And Quan Chi says, I am stronger than Danji, but he's more fearsome, which I think is actually where she brings up. She probably could bring either one, 2 moments about the Kishikabe line. But regardless, she states that, and Yuro kind of looks a bit, she's like, and just we don't know if she cuts Quan Chi's hat. We can assume that she does cut it. It's like this weird kind of ending an arc by cutting away from the building kind of thing where we have like us thinking about going for a swing and then cutting away. I'm assuming this means this prison break arc kind of is over with the next chapter maybe being like the reaction by characters like, oh, Danji's body is missing. They escaped. Katana betrayed us, and they also released a bunch of other devils and these hybrids out in the street to cause a bit more chaos on their escape to distract us and be unable to follow them. Not entirely certain if it's like everything is exactly like this. I could imagine like Fami like revealing the next chapter or a few chapters that Fami step up and goes, wait a minute, I have a way to help you. You get your devil, your wives, more women you can want. You will become a big happy harem. Nonetheless, a renter or child renter, of course, but a big harem. So maybe something like that's gonna be revealed, but I'm not that certain. I could just see again her being cut, her head coming off, and all that. Again, I think it's purposely kind of being bigger for this chapter, for the next couple of chapters, which I think is also a break week next week. But regardless, I think we are gonna see. I think we're gonna have. I think it's yeah. if I'm going to, and the next week is a break, I could see this just being, what exactly happened mystery thing, which I think is gonna be revealed that Asa did not put Denji together after this because she realized I couldn't beat someone that the person who claimed they are stronger than Chainsaw Man. They will not want to fight Chainsaw Man. So I think I have to grow in strength before we do this, which I feel like Atama will not argue much. But again, we will have to wait and see what's going to happen. I feel like it's like my money right now is Fami somehow convinced Quan Chi to join because because it would be kind of nice because it would be kind of funny if all the weapon devils except Baron, that ballet bastard, just kind of all join Fami. We would kind of all join the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Uh, and maybe also decides to kind of wait before she has Denji join or puts Denji back because, well, you probably. I can't see this be a conflict between you and Asa, but like, Asa, I want Denji back! He's like, no, we have to wait until we are stronger so we can beat the Chainsaw Man. So I could see this kind of be kind of a thing. And I imagine Katana would also kind of go along with it because, like, I got absolutely smoked by Punchy, obvious, and she doesn't even want to fight, and she doesn't even want to risk going up against Denji in a severed limb form. We need to grow, so I can imagine like Asa and Katama training a bit after this. So we'll probably have to again. I don't know how quickly this is gonna be revealed. I could see the next chapter again just being kind of what's going over everything for aftermath with the focus on the commission, and then with maybe the end of the chapter kind of revealing what's going on with Asa and what they decide to do with Asa and Femi and the whole situation. We'll again have to wait and see on that front. But yeah, I think we are ending it. I think this is the final chapter of this arc with the next just being an epilogue kind of thing. But yeah, anyways, I hope you like this video. I hope you leave your thoughts on the chapters we went over this week, and also tell me in the comments below what chapters you've read. And with that said, I cannot wait to see. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And that's it. I cannot wait to see all of your mortals next time. Goodbye.